So I'm just getting the bike ready for my first ride, and I was just doing some basic maintenance before I put it back on the road. So what I'm doing now in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to lube the throttle cable. Now this basic piece of maintenance gets a little bit overlooked because number one, people think there's not a lot of stress on the throttle cables, therefore it doesn't really need lube. Number two is it's difficult. It's much more involved than doing the clutch cable lubing, which is pretty straightforward. So I'll show you how. I'll show you the way I do it. Now, first of all, this step is completely optional. You can remove the airbox. Actually, the throttle is on the other side, but you can remove the airbox so then you can see the fluid come out and wipe away any excess that flows through. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. And the reason why I have my airbox or my tank up is because I was cleaning the air filter. So anyway, disregard my open tank. We're going to focus back onto the throttle portion here. So the first step is to remove your throttle cable housing, and then remove the cables from the throttle tube. I don't know if you can see right there, but the throttle cable basically hooks on inside there, so basically just take it out. It's pretty straightforward. So once you've removed the throttle cables from your throttle tube, your next step is to remove the throttle slack adjusters. So I've removed it on this side here, so I'll show you how to remove it on this side. Now your bike may be different. I know some older bikes just have one throttle cable, and it may or may not have a throttle adjuster. So you can probably just get to it by putting your luber on this end alone. Now the reason why I can't put it on this end alone is because you can see this. It's not a enclosed tube, so I have to put the lube in from this side. So I'll show you how to remove the adjusters. It's actually quite simple. So all you got to do is just unscrew this side, loosen it up, and now you have to remove this one here, which is actually held on by the cable itself. But really simply, stick a screwdriver in this slot right here, and then just gently pry it open, and then this thing should just come right off. And there you have it. This side comes off. So the luber I'm going to be using is just any old cable luber that you can pick up at any motorcycle store. And you just slip this over the cable and insert your lube into this hole and start injecting. Now the throttle cables are a little bit different than the clutch. So if you've done the clutch before, you know what I'm talking about. Right here, you see that the diameter of the throttle cable is a little bit smaller than the clutch side, so you can see when I clamp down on this, it won't really go right over. But a real simple solution is to, what I did was I just wrapped the electrical tape around this end, and then just make it a thick enough diameter, and it works. It's a makeshift way. It's kind of crude, but it works, and I actually have it up here, and the reason why it slides up and down is because the cable's pretty pretty greasy. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp this down and then show you the next step. So tighten the screws nice and snug, and now you're ready to inject the cable lube. Now the cable lube that I use is PJ1's cable lube, and a can like this will pretty much last you forever. Now the nozzle has actually fallen off, but I actually find it pretty helpful this way, because what you can do is you can just stick this inside. Stick it inside the hole, and then just put the can on, and then start injecting. Now make sure you put a rag or something underneath it, because this does come out at high pressure. Not that it's potent to the finish of your bike, but it's just, I hate cleaning this stuff off. It's really messy. So now just all you got to do is just press. Now don't worry if you see some squirting out from either side. It's quite normal. Even doing the clutch is pretty similar. But as you inject the lube, you will hear from the other side the oil coming out, or the lube coming out. So I'm not sure if the camera has picked up any of the sound, but I definitely heard it. And also when you look down, now I'm for sure that the camera can't pick this up, but I can see that the cable is a little bit wet from the fluid just coming out the other end. So that side is all lubed up. All I have to do now is to do the other one. And if your bike doesn't have two throttle cables, then you're pretty much done. Just reassemble everything and you're good to go. If you haven't lubed your throttle cable in a while, now this is the time. Hopefully this video has helped. If you have any questions or comments, please post them, let me know. Subscribe if you found this video helpful. Rate, and thanks for watching as usual. Now that's smooth.